netball legend Karla Pretorius has a new role in this year's Telkom Netball League, which is currently underway in Sun City this week. The vastly experienced Pretorius, who captained the Free State Crinums to victory in last year's tournament, won't be taking to the court this season. Instead, she's stepping into a coaching role. So joining the Crinums technical team as an assistant coach for their title defense. And then she's also laying the groundwork for their future in the sport. Coach Karla now joins us virtually to talk to us about her new role. Karla, it's so good to chat to you. I mean, you captained the Free State Crinums to victory, as we mentioned, last year. Now you're an assistant coach. What prompted the move, especially at this juncture in your career?
Morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. Well, I've always coaching. It's always been a passion of mine, and over the years, I've really been part of the school setup, university, and since the beginning of the year, just kind of made that transition into almost life of the playing.
I mean, again, give us some insight into what was your headspace when you said, okay, I can call it a day. Was it because you ended off on a high, which is something all athletes want to do, right?
Yeah, I think at that stage of my career, I really just felt like I need to take some sort of break. But also knowing that I am passionate about coaching and it's something that I want to go into, and also having this opportunity, which is such a great opportunity, especially working with such a quality group, but also working alongside Coach March, who's really a big mentor of mine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think because of the really strong group, it's made that transition also much easier.
No, I totally get that. And we chatted to Coach Martz earlier this week as well. We were talking about, trying to balance your lineup between experienced players and also the young blood. I mean, you've got senior Proteas players like Refiwe and Ketsa and Anera Tiff there, but then there's also youngsters like Zandri Fourie. How involved are you, especially as a former player yourself, in assisting Coach Martz with these type of decisions in the balance of your squad?
I think one thing that's really stand out for Crinums is the fact that the structures behind the scene is quite healthy. If I especially refer to the university setups, CUT, COFCs, and the quality coaching, all the players get there. So we literally just need to bring it all together and really form the structures within our group. But I think the combinations are quite set and strong, and we could just take that and work from there. So. Yeah, it's about really knowing that all the work is being done behind the scene, but then as coaches now need to just establish those strong structures or what is expected of this group and really make it work and firing on the day when they really need to perform.
Yeah, I get the sense that you've built a solid foundation, which makes it easier as you go along, as long as you keep that structure in place. Your academic background is actually in dietetics and sports nutrition. Is that something you uniquely bring to the squad, ensuring that your girls are fueled properly? And is that why you've been able to have such dominant form?
Yeah, even though I'm not here in a dietitian capacity, I always remind the players of, well, we all know that how important it is in being an athlete. It's so part of your preparation, just as good quality training is. So I always remind them, I always keep an eye, and they always ask questions as well. So even though you have this coaching hat, I often give the advice, and they would ask if they want to know something. But that's everybody brings something different, and it's not just in one capacity, it's maybe in multiple capacities.
Yeah, wearing multiple hats as well. There's no eating, crisps and junk food too much around you. But give us a sense of how big your coaching team is. How big is the contingent? Netball is something that you've been playing professionally since 2015, but perhaps we don't really know how big the supporting structures are for a professional netball squad.
Yeah, I mean, you can really sometimes be more coaches than the playing group, but everybody needs to really understand what their role is. Currently in this setup, it's Coach Mart as head coach, and then myself as assistant coach, which I obviously focus a bit more on the team defense. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's really that work you do during the week. And the great thing about this group, in the likes of Anay, Fifi, they all very good coaches as well, and they really understand the game, and they kind of bring that really what they need on court and really figuring out. And it's my job as obviously defensive coach just to guide that. And you want them to keep their flair, keep doing what they've been doing, because they're all very good at it.
I mean, there's always this debate, does a former player make a better coach because they understand exactly what the players themselves are going through and what you've experienced throughout your career as well? Of course, you've done a lot of work to make sure that you've done all the training as a coach, management training as well. But netball seems to be quite unique with this, in that a lot of the coaches are former players themselves. Do you think that's what lends to the growth of the sport in South Africa and what we actually do need?
I do think it's definitely, like you said, I think for myself, the fact that I've really been going into coaching for the last few years, but then still being a player, it gave me a different perspective as well. Definitely, if you're still in playing, you really understand the game. And as a coach now, you understand that what is the type of information players wants to receive. But it's also really, at the end of the day, it's not just about that information you're giving, it's also about that relationship you build with your players and really making sure that they understand what their role is and understanding what kind of environment is going to allow them to really excel in their position and within the team.
Just as we wrap up, Karla, you've played overseas. You've been once called you were formerly the best netball player in the world in the 2019 Netball World Cup. What do you think we need in South Africa? We know it's all about budget, but we have to move beyond that. What do you personally think we need in South Africa to get the game to the next level?
Well, we definitely need to move into professional era. We need our players to do this more full-time. Last night's game against the Fireballs was a great example of what type of games we need week in, week out. I think we need to create a tournament or a champion structure where you play for a longer duration of time this year, not just maybe 3 power weeks. So yes, there's a lot of things that can improve, but I think if we can move into a more professional era, it will slowly but surely create all of those opportunities or things that you need to do right.
Definitely.
But I must say, every year it's getting better. We just need to keep on doing that, but hopefully next year.
Well, thanks again for chatting to us. State Crinums netball legend Karla Pretorius talking to us about her career and a transition into assistant coach roles. They will be playing today at 12 o'clock against the Northwest Flames, wishing them the best of luck there.